Hey, Chandler Cooper. Welcome to the Music You're Missing podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm really cold, though.
Yeah, it's really fucking cold here in Boston.
Yeah, it's very cold.
I'm
doing
been
fantastic,
here
though.
before?
Never been to Boston.
Yeah, you traveled to Boston for Music You're Missing.
Traveled far and wide.
That is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I'm so honored.
Yeah, it's a lot different than Texas. I was actually on the phone with my friend. He was like, "Why the hell are you? Am I allowed to cuss? I don't really."
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. He said, "Why the fuck are you in Boston, dude?" And then he went on to this thing about the science of how it's colder in Texas than it is in Boston. And I was like, "Dude, fuck you. It is not. It is so not colder in Texas." My God, yeah, it's freezing. It's freezing here, but I love it. I think it's great.
I am not energized by the cold by any means. I'll never get used to it. I get seasonal depression. I'm grumpy. So welcome.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here.
So from Texas, I'm kind of curious because whenever I travel a lot, and whenever I travel anywhere outside of the U.S., I feel like people will describe the U.S. to me via Texas stereotypes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, what Texas stereotypes do you kind of fall under?
You know what's so funny? My town, I'm from a small town called Cleburne, and Cleburne has a lot of dirt roads. And my general area, there's still a lot of people that ride horses. So when people ask me questions about when I was out in California, it was hard to get used to because I was like 17 and people were asking me questions about Texas. They're like, "So do people really ride horses?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you do." So I just turned a knob. But I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, some people do." Oh my God, my first time riding a horse was in 2020, and the horse saw a snake or something and got spooked. And that was my last time riding a horse because it ran and it started in the little pin it was in, there was like a metal, what would you call that, frame?
Yeah.
And it started running out of it.
Were you spooked?
I was spooked too, yeah. I jumped off it. I bailed off this horse and smacked my face. And then for the next 2 days, I was like out of commission.
Risk wasn't worth the reward.
No, not at all. So now I have like kind of a fear of horses. The stereotypes. I have where I'm from, I have a hard time being able to discredit those.
Yeah.
I'm from a pretty hick place in Texas. Yeah.
Honestly, I never would have guessed that you were like that deep Texas.
Yeah, my mom's from California, my dad's from Guatemala, so I don't really have the, "Hey brother, how you doing? It's nice to see you." It's not George Bush.
Not yet. A few more years.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously I discovered you through TikTok, but I since found out that you actually had an original kind of popping off on Vine and Musically.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, like what kind of content were you making?
Well, with Vine, I really didn't have anything to do in my small town because there's nothing. Like there was a bowling alley that bikers would go to. And so I had nothing to do. So I was with my friend one night and we were just like, we were both making Vines. And one of my Vines did well, one of his Vines did well at the same time. And then we got together and we just started making Vines. And we just went by Zach and Chandler. Mm-hmm. And then from then on, like, he didn't like doing it. I loved doing it, fell in love with it. I changed the name of the account. The account, like, got like 50,000 followers, which on Vine was crazy.
That's like
no algorithm. It's word of mouth.
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy. And then I switched over to Musically. But I was just kind of making comedy sketches, and the Musically was like the music video editor.
Yeah.
And I hopped on, I saw everybody like, "Tell me pretty lies, look me in my face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake." And then I just hopped on doing like Vine content.
Yeah.
And so that's where it started.
No, that was really good. Two, when you were posting on Vine, was there any particular end goal, or were you just like, it's funny?
Oh my God. The end goal was I was so obsessed with MagCon. You remember MagCon?
Yeah, of course.
Meet and greet convention.
I think that's probably why I even have a podcast these days.
Right? They set the blueprint. It was so funny. I swear to God, I don't talk about MagCon super a lot, but like an hour ago, my girlfriend's right here, Sarah, about an hour ago, I was just giving her the entire lore on Jack and Jack from MagCon. And I was like, this is Jack and Jack. You know what I mean? They were releasing music before Shawn Mendes, you know? Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, so I wanted to be on MagCon really bad. That's what it was. I thought they were so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely like made a blueprint though. Like, do you know that you have a famous birthdays account, right?
Yeah.
Or like page.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's when you know you made Vine history. And it quotes, it has like started off on Vine.
Yeah, it used to say Viner on there, and then it went to Musically Star, and then Rapper. And yeah, so it's still Rapper.
They're really keeping tabs on your career. Whoever's behind it.
They are. They're like, he has at least 3,000 fans, and I'm like, yeah, I do have that is my minimum.
So I mean, you had 50,000 followers. That, like I said, like that's, I mean, that's a lot on TikTok now, but like it's obviously achievable.
Yeah.
Vine, that was a lot.
We only had revines.
Did you have like opportunities come up from that back in the day?
I did. You know, the funniest thing about that was back in the day you had Telegram and it was, they put
Wait, I don't even think I know what that is.
Telegram?
Yeah.
So Telegram is like kind of like WhatsApp. Now it's just for buying Kush on the streets. Now it's just for buying marijuana. And they'd put you in groups where it would just be all the meme accounts. And so, like, that was kind of cool. There's so many people that pop up on TikTok where it's like, I don't want to, like, name names. So there are people that are, like, killing it on music, like, doing all this shit. And it says, from your contacts, and we'll have their name on TikTok. And it'll say, like, Best Bay Vines. And it'll have, like, their number 307K Vine. And so, but, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot that came from it, like, from Vine specifically. What came out of it was I went to California the first time.
Oh, word.
With a big group of people, and I got to meet everybody that I'd idolized. And then from there, that transition went into Musically, and then those Musically connects with the Vine connects, and nobody had their footing yet.
Yeah.
So all the Viners were still trying to figure out their lifeblood is gone. They have a recognizable face, but it's time to get a job. And Musically is a thing popping off, but all the Viners were like, I don't really want to do Musically, so everybody was moving to YouTube. And the select amount of Viners made it from YouTube. So everybody was in that transitional period, and I seemed to get into the entertainment industry for social media right during that transition. Because I didn't pop off on Vine until the end.
No.
And I didn't pop off on Musically until the beginning of the new, new
era.
age. Yeah, so that's the thing that came from Vine was right when I started blowing up, I was able to get into the transition and start meeting TikTokers and, other Viners and YouTubers. I tried the YouTube stuff, but it was too hard for me.
It's like hard. A lot of a commitment to even post like one long form video.
Yeah.
Takes quite some time. I don't understand how people can, I mean, I obviously understand it, but like it is a commitment for a creator to post like full length content every week.
Yeah, it really is. And it's also like it just takes up so much mental space.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing with it too. Is I heard there's like a 3-day rule to follow, but I'm just like I'm gonna get into
fucking
it.
rules, dude.
It's too many rules, and if you miss
rules.
one rule, your content gets all messed up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want let me make my music and shut the fuck up, and let me just sit in the back, make my little TikTok, and I'll just be in my little bubble.
Yeah, well, your little TikToks is actually like how I found you, but I didn't find you initially from your music.
Yeah.
I did in fact find you from your account, Susan Bennett Pay Pig 2.
Yeah.
So before we get into the wild antics that go down on that, can you kindly explain that name?
Yeah, yeah. So back in 2016, I love voice acting. That's like my big thing.
Yeah, you actually do some great impressions.
Thank you. But yeah, I love voice acting, and I found that like it was this article about the most famous people that you've never seen, and one of them was the actor named Doug Jones, I believe is his name, and he's like from the Shape of Water, and he's the Silver Surfer, like he's just like kind of the template for aliens and stuff like that. And then one of them was Susan Bennett, and Susan Bennett's the voice actor who provided the voice for Siri.
Okay.
And she's this sweet older lady who like wears big glasses and tells you, vote. Everybody should vote. She wears a scarf and she's like, hi, I'm Susan Bennett. You probably know me. And it's so insane because she looks like she gives good hugs and smells nice. Just a little old lady you kind of just want to meet. And I thought, that's super niche and funny. It's like 2016. And I would always act like I was having mental breaks on the streets of Los Angeles, and I had this friend, Cody. Shout out to Cody because he never let me live it down, and that's where I kind of got the name. But I would walk through the streets, and there'd be like girls who would look at Cody. He's a handsome fella, tall, and I would just go, Susan Bennett, and I would just like start like tweaking out, and then they would like get up and start moving faster, like oh god, okay. So I would always do this thing, and then I was going through, I think it was Twitter, and I saw this guy named Norman the Slave Pig. and he's this old guy. I think he's like 80. Are you familiar with Norman the Slave Pig?
I'm not quite familiar with his work. I wouldn't be surprised if it passed my desk at least a time or two.
I hope it didn't, but I hope it did. But anyways, yeah, he's just this old man. He's in his 80s, and he has like a pig snout tatted across his forehead, eyebrows tatted, and it just says like on his chest he has Miss Talon's cuck tattooed on him. He's just old man, scary as hell, but he's a pay pig. And I thought, oh, this guy's Miss Talon's like pay pig? That's hilarious. And then I was just like, I'm Susan Bennett's pay pig. And I made that my Finsta. Okay, this is so long-winded, but I made that my Finsta name was Susan Bennett's pay pig. Then I was doing on my main account on Chandler Cooper, I was making my music and I was doing a super niche like character that I created. And I didn't talk, and I wasn't going to speak until I started giving the announcement that my debut single for my album, Eye to Eye, came out. So I was like, man, I just feel like I wish I had a Finsta for TikTok that I could just post stuff. And my friend Giuliano, who is now Giuliano, so cute, low-key, does a bunch of Target videos. He was like, dude, just make like, I don't know, make like a Finsta for your TikTok. Like, just make a TikTok where you post whatever. And I was like, yeah, I could do that, actually. But no, so I made the video, Susan Bennett's Pay Pig, but I made the mistake or the channel. And then I made the mistake that with every video I made, it started doing well, Susan Bennett's Pay Pig.
Yeah.
And with every video I made, I would show my ass for a split second at the end, whether it's me showing my arc or whatever it is, arch. I would do that. So that account got banned. And then Giuliano called me, and he was like, dude, it got banned. That was like the last funny thing I saw on TikTok. And so then I made Susan Bennett's Pay Pig 2.
Oh, that's why there's a 2 at the end.
There's a 2, because I got banned on my first. I got fucking banned, and so I got banned on my first one. So I'm still banned. So yeah, so I made Susan Bennett's Pay Pig 2. And that's where it came from. It's just super weird niche, but yeah. And then I go by SBPP now because I was at Wingstop doing DoorDash, and like an 8-year-old kid came up with his mom, and I'm sitting there. Wingstop is packed, and she goes, hi, excuse me, are you Susan Bennett's Pay Pig? Not knowing, I guess, what a pay pig was. And so I just kind of froze. And she goes, my son is a big fan. Can he get a photo? And I go, yeah. And so we take a photo, and everybody's staring at me. One, because I'm in Cleburne, Texas, taking a photo with people. So that's like there's like 30,000 people in the whole area. And so that's weird. But it's also weird that anybody who knows what a pay pig is, I'm taking a picture with a child.
8-year-old, yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think this through. I didn't think this account would do well. So then so then I was like, I have to come up with something. And that day I created SBPP News. It was like, there's enough news going around. We got Donald Trump. Well, I'll tell you this much. It's a witch hunt.
So were you doing the news updates though at the time? Or
No.
like, were you also like, oh, now I'm going to do news updates?
No, I just decided that day. I was just like, okay, I'm going to do news updates, call them SBPP News. It was literally like, I thought it would do well, but I just wanted to be called SBPP. It was that day. I was kind of in a panic, and now I love giving SBPP News.
I think you're like the funniest person ever. I do want to highlight, because I think it kind of went under the radar, your Quick World t-shirts impression that you just did. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, thank you.
But SBPP News, if you will, had quite the character arc. Like you've got a few bits that are going.
Yeah. I mean, the probably even every bit. The cool thing about SBPP is if you have been following for a year, you see the vernacular progress into what it is. Because one thing that me and my girlfriend do a lot is from my Johnny Depp videos, I go, Mr. Depp, when you did Alice in Wonderland, did you like it? And it's like Amber Heard's lawyers, because I was watching the case and I was like, yo, low-key, like, it seems that they're like huge fans of Johnny Depp. And they're just asking questions. They're like me in that situation. They're like, Mr. Depp, when you did Pirates of the Caribbean, were you really drunk? Were you drinking alcohol at the time?
It was like a fan Q&A, and like not a deposition.
So I was just doing this terrible, like, Mr. Depp, my client pooped on your bed. Do you like it? And so it's like, but there's so many things like that with SBPP that they just carry on. So you feel like you're in on the joke. My first videos to go viral were like all of those, where I just like literally got blacked out. In the first one, I have a sleep mask on because I was in a room full of windows and I needed to sleep and I was like really drunk. and then I had it on, and I was like, oh, I should make that video I thought about in passing. And it's, this is my impression. And like those videos are probably my favorite. I digress. In those I go, was that your honor? Okay, I probably even digress. And those follow me. Those like stalk me. So
I mean, you've definitely like it is interesting though because you've definitely created like a part of culture. Like people say the things that you say.
No, it's pretty cool.
It's part of vernacular.
It's pretty cool.
So like, how does that feel? Like, because it's not just like people like your video, but then they're taking it to the next level.
Yeah, it's awesome. It feels really cool because it was like when I was like, okay, here's a good way to explain this. As an underdog, where people only know Susan Bennett's Pay Pig, they don't know that I have a following.
Yeah.
As an underdog, it's really cool seeing the creators who are larger who steal my bit and tag me versus the creators who steal the bit and then get defensive when you just said, I probably even digress, which I don't think a human being has ever said, I probably even digress, and then try to make it their own. So it's really interesting because like I had a video it wasn't called anything. I don't think I had a caption, but I just go, I'm really sad. And I rip ass and I go, pardon. And I had to realize very quickly that pardon, I couldn't control it anymore. Like I couldn't be like, hey dude, like why'd you steal that? And not get like I was just like I was like, that's for everyone now. You know? So it's cool seeing all the people that credit the underdog, Susan Bennett's Pay Pig too.
Yeah.
And it's also really cool beefing with people who don't. You know what I mean? So I love it. I think it's really cool. I didn't expect Susan Bennett's Pay Pig 2 to have any impact culturally, but it did. And I'm like so happy with it. That Sky Looks Bad. That's another one.
I mean, you hit on a few of the things that you come out with, such as ripping ass, as you say, shaving weird things into your chest hair.
Yeah.
I have to imagine though, like it's a lot to put out there on social media. So I am kind of curious, like how is your relationship with social media, and are you comfortable at this point just kind of posting whatever, or like are you in your head at all?
Yeah, that's actually such a good question. Basically, there were only a select amount of people who'd ever seen me shirtless because I'm a very hairy guy, right? And like nobody had ever really seen me shirtless. And then when I started taking my shirt off and shaving stuff into it, and people laughing with me, it actually really helped my body image a lot, which is crazy. Like people lighting me up with Chandler Cooper, I did the character where so doing that, and then people lighting me up about how hideous I am, I felt like it was directed at the character that was supposed to look ugly, but it actually helped me a lot with my confidence. So basically, my music and my art that I've created on TikTok has saved a lot of people, but I feel like I was the one that was saved, Brendan.
I will say I'm really surprised to hear that, though. I really would kill myself if I had to be shirtless on TikTok. Like, I would actually end it all. So good for you.
Thanks.
And I guess, like, was there ever anything that you ever did post where you're like, oh, I'm questionable? Or, like, you fully, like, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever I want?
I've kind of full sent a lot of things. I'm trying to think of if there's anything I've taken down. I think I've taken down quite a bit of things that are kind of push the envelope a little too much because I'm a firm believer that you can be funny and without like punching on anyone. You know? So, but there have been times where I've actually had friends call me and say, you should probably take that one down.
Really?
Yeah, for a couple videos. But I've posted, like, as you know, because you've done the deep dive, I've posted like 2,000 videos, and I don't really think when I post. Yeah. So I just I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but there are some things I've done that people are like, hey, it's a little far, dude. You should probably delete this one.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's cool to have like a support system, but also at the end of the day, it's like...
Yeah, nobody. But one thing I'll say is nobody calls me and tells me to delete something because it's not funny.
Hey, that's when you know you made it.
No, sometimes I'm like, oh, you're overreacting, and then I'll keep it up, and you know. But yeah, I don't really post a lot of like controversial stuff. I give bipartisan news, and I just shut up. You know, which is good. Nobody really knows what I'm thinking up there.
Yeah, I mean that's literally where I get my news updates from. So except for today, obviously, I was logged off.
Yeah, I want to start doing weather next.
Dude, wait, I kind of love that.
Yeah, I'm about to start a YouTube channel. This is not even a plug because if you follow me, you'll probably see it. But yeah, I want to do a YouTube channel where I do skits, and then in the middle of them, I interrupt it with SBPP news, like in a news station. Kind of.
This is so off topic, but in high school, we had like a morning news station. That's literally how I started my media endeavors.
Oh, sick.
And that's what my very first like bit was. I was a funny news guy.
Nice.
And I was specifically, there was like, I think it was Mean Girls, which I still have yet to see, but I know that there's a scene where she like grabs her boobs and she's like, it's like, apparently it's like raining or something.
Yeah.
And anyways, it killed at Walpole High School. So it might kill through the whole internet.
Yeah, we had Buzz News when I was in high school. We had a thing called Buzz News.
What were you like in high school?
What was I like in high school? I went for 2 years. I went for my freshman year, then I did online school for 2 years, and then I came back my senior year. I was a pretty bullied little guy.
Yeah, I actually did hear that.
You heard that one?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw the Hotheads interview?
I did.
Jeez, man. Yeah, but yeah. So for 2 years, I just kind of. But my freshman year, I was a little guy who had a tennis racket that stuck out of my bag that was like bigger than me. And then my senior year, I was like kind of cool because I was friends with all the like popular guys, but I also just loved being at school.
Were you like on social media at senior year?
I started my sophomore year doing social media.
Oh, okay.
And so I started songwriting when I was in 7th grade, writing every day because I wanted to be the next Eminem. Thank God I did that. Like shout out 2010 Chandler for doing that, for being a little cocky, arrogant little guy.
Yeah, but that honestly like sets a foundation for
Totally,
like, because you learn from probably being bad.
It did, yeah. Yeah, it did, but I thought I was the best. So I just kept pushing. And then when I saw people around who were better than me, I was like freestyling. That's how I write my music, is I like, freestyle. But anyways, I was doing Vine and stuff my senior year, and my little graduation announcement says "Good Vibes, Good Vines" on it. And at the end, my parent of my yearbook, there's a picture of me as a baby. And it was like for everybody, they got to put their baby pictures in the yearbook. I don't know if everybody does that.
We did that too.
Cool. Okay, so that's like a yearbook experience. And then it said on it, "We're proud to be the family of the second half of Zach and Chandler on Vine or whatever." And so like it was like my entire personality.
That's awesome
school.
though.
Yeah, I love Vine.
Shout out Vine. You did a full 180. You up all and then you ended up on top.
I know, right?
Good for you.
That's right.
I mean, so obviously I mentioned like finding you on TikTok. I was pretty delighted to find out you made music. I immediately went. The first song I heard of yours was Lexapro. Mm-hmm. Super good, like really like well polished, well written. Not surprising. I'm kind of curious though, like about your artist project. What inspired it? What kind of tunes are we like inspired the sound and?
Well, it's actually interesting. Lexapro is the only song I've released I didn't write. One of my best friends, actually two of my best friends, Juliana, who I was talking about, and Silas Gray from the Grays Music. Shout out to the Grays Music, some of the best music I've ever heard, period. Jaden Gray has like produced most of my project and like just fantastic music. But they made this song and Silas sent it to me and he's like, "Bro, listen to this song, bro." And I was like, "All right, word." So I listened to it and I just started crying. Lexapro, and it was his demo. It's so beautiful. And I was like, "Dude, I want this song." I was like, "You gonna release it?" He was like, "No, I'm not gonna release it." He was like, "I'm gonna sell it." And then a couple months later, I just reached out and I was like, "Dude, can I buy the song?" I was like drunk. And I was like, "Can I just buy the song?" He was like, "Yeah." And so he gave me a little discount on it, and then I went out to LA. But anyways, my artist project was, like I had said, I was a like a rapper.
Yeah.
I was a rapper, and so my goal with social media, it was originally to do like Vine and stuff, or to do MagCon, but my end goal was to use that for leverage to make music and like get those connections, because I could write, I could rap, I couldn't produce, and I didn't think I could sing very well. I was like in choir, and I was like I did very well in choir, but I just didn't really want to sing. I wanted to rap. And then I got with this dude one town over, his name was Scott, and we made like a project together. And I just found out in that I was really good at singing the hooks. So I had a song, my first song I released was called Collect. It was on my 2017 album that's like only available on SoundCloud now. But it was called Collect, and I'm just rapping. And then I sing the chorus, and it was like really pretty, kind of ethereal. And then my second song, I kind of belt the chorus and I'm rapping. And then that just led to all these different sounds. And next thing I knew, I was like, I want to do a song where I don't rap. That was my song called Pineapple Lime. And these are all from that album. And I found a lot of myself in that album. And then, yeah, so, oh my gosh. Yeah. And then I just continued rapping and writing over YouTube beats and trying to sing, but I didn't know how auto-tune works. So next thing I know, I'm like doing all these layers. And
do you produce?
I produce now.
Oh, cool.
A little bit, not much, but I do. I can hold my own a little bit. I'm pretty, yeah. But I'm not where I want to be with that.
Yeah.
But I made my project in 2021 after a breakup, and I told them ahead of time. I said, hey, no rap. Like I love rap. I'm good at it, but no rap. And so we made sure there was no rap on the project. This is like a pop thing. So like it's always been. Music is my favorite thing, and everybody asks me. They say, "When are you gonna quit with the TikToks? Like, at what point do you think you're gonna quit TikTok and just focus full time on music?" And I'm like, I don't think I can. Like, I love when people come up and they're like, "I love your TikToks." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
And when people come up, "I love your music," and you know, I love that. You know, I love both of them, but I don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue doing both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, where are you? Would you say in like your artist career? Like, do you have a manager, agent, publicist, things like that?
I'm completely independent, and I don't have management. I don't have labels. I don't have I don't have anything. It's just me. And it's it's a pain in the ass because like it's the thing they don't tell you is like you can be so skilled, but it's really hard getting the attention. I've probably messaged, oh my God, I've probably messaged 200, 300 managements, A&Rs, labels, and like never hear back. I don't know what it is, but it's like I've been going to events and stuff, and I just can't figure out how to crack that.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking. I saw, because you also said that like same with like social media sales and like sponsorships and paid stuff. That's surprising, both of them together. How are you reaching out to them? Are you just like DMing them?
I'm drafting emails and, you know, I'm DMing. I'm finding emails. I'm doing their with the brands and stuff too. I'll reach out with my analytics screenshotted and you know I don't know, but
yeah, that's fucked up. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. You got a one sheet? Got an EPK?
I don't even know what that is.
There we go. That's step number one, baby.
Is that like a press?
It's basically like a resume
like a press
for
kit?
your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just has all the good stuff, and you don't inflate, but you say you only include the good stuff that people care about, and people are gonna pretend to like listen to your music. They'll probably, this is fucked up, but people will just look at the numbers, and a lot of the times they don't even listen to your music, and they'll just be like, "Oh, he has 900,000 followers on TikTok. Like, yeah, let's do something with him." But that, honestly, I always like whenever I work with like developing artists, that's the first thing I recommend is like just getting a nicely branded piece of
like a nice little press kit.
Yeah, and like what it looks like honestly says so much more than the numbers on it. Like just having it look like legit opens up so many like doors.
Cool. That's what I'm gonna do then.
And like you definitely have like the talents, the network, the streamings. Like you definitely have the ability to make this like the full-time gig.
Thank you.
I was surprised to hear that you were hitting with rejection, but that is the road of an independent artist. You will face a lot more. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy being independent and like doing DoorDash. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and then on top of that, like everybody around when I like talk about it, they're like, "Oh, but you have, you know, like 1 million followers." That people just kind of assume I'm super rich.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I cater for a sandwich shop, and I do DoorDash.
But hey, anything to like fund the dream is super respectable.
Yeah, it's super. I love it though. I'm happy.
Yeah,
and there was a time where, there have been times throughout the social media stuff where if I heard that I wouldn't care what the finances look like. Yeah, because I'm happy. I'm making the music. I'm finally making the music that it went from. Do you make good music? And me going, I don't know. It's like, that's an opinion, to me being like, yeah, I've invested so much of my everything into the music, of my money and my, my heart into the music. Like, I think that I can't make better. And every time I make music, I try to make music that I don't think I can make better. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I make good music. So that jump there would make little me proud. So yeah, I don't get too lost in it.
No, that's actually super awesome. I was just like interviewed for this thing, and that was honestly one of the biggest things I said is like, there was obviously times where, as you're growing, you are so focused on what could be and what could have been, and opportunities that maybe you lost. But like, think of square one. It's like you have music on Spotify. Like that's already an achievement in itself. Like you're already doing the things that you want to do. And as an independent artist, like you need to find comfort in that, because there is a very high chance that it's not going to be your full-time career, because it's fucking hard. And even the people that look like they're popping off and like are signed to labels are in debt. Like like you really do need to be grateful and mindful of the small wins, and maybe try to take those small wins and turn them into bigger ones.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there was like I saw a thing online that was like, if you are an independent artist and you're like struggling, it was like, and you have your stuff on Spotify, just remember you have your stuff out, and so many people who are so talented and probably more talented than you will never release because they're too much of perfectionists. So you've already made the big leap.
Yeah, and just like consistency. Like you've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And so many people, Taylor Swift, what did she say? Ask me why so many people fade, but I'm still here. That alone is an accomplishment, that like the consistency is that you have an audience, and one day, not that you're not there yet, but like that audience is going to follow you through all of the greatness that you accomplish. So you're doing it right.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out
to anybody watching this. And if you've gotten this far, comment, I ain't missing this music.
I tried to do that once with like a playlist. It didn't work out.
Oh, really?
Damn. I want to talk about your music, though. You said New Chevy was like your favorite track that you've ever made. You said it like helped you surrender to the art of music. I'm kind of curious what you meant by that.
Damn, I don't remember where I said that at. So not music. New Chevy was, I was fresh out of a breakup, and I knew that the one thing I needed to do, I had money saved up for like an apartment, and I was like, you know what I need to do is I need to just invest this in music. And I was angry. I had such a big chip on my shoulder. And then I got with my friend Jaden Gray, and he was like, okay, what vibe are we going to go for? And I was like, dude, I trust you. Just like have fun. Like I just have stuff I want to say. And he was like, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, are you sure? And then he went in, he started making this song, and then it came together in such a interesting way, because he goes, oh, I have an idea for this. What if it went, thought I had the antidote, new Chevy. And he goes, I don't know, we're not going to say new Chevy. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, like that's perfect. And so it was one of those things where it just kind of magically came together. And while I was so angry and wanting to make like angry, like just insane artsy music, that song being the first song on the project that I'd worked on, I was just like, I can't do anything angry now because of how beautiful and how accepting and how much like how the undertones of self-love are for this song.
Yeah.
And it changed the course of the music. And so that song was just, I was in such a crazy place mentally and emotionally, and that song helped pull me out of it and help me like kind of slap me in the face and be like, hey dude, we're an artist. Like, stop, chill. And so, like, the hook to it was like the first thing I wrote. Well, I've like freestyled it. I actually have the original freestyle that New Chevy came from, but it was called Drunk. And it just fits so well in New Chevy. And everything about that song just magically came together. And that being the first track that I worked on just set the course for my music to be a lot less like, oh, I fucking hate myself, and more like, hey, like we go through things and we're okay. So I think New Chevy really, New Chevy really just completely changed the way I thought and the way that I went through the grieving process. Wow. And I did it while homeless in LA for 6 months. Like, I'd wiped out my bank account, given it as a down payment, and then was just like, all right, let's create. And so 6 months, no car, because I flew out there, crashing on couches.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, hungry. Just making the music. Meanwhile, puffing out my stomach, looking like I'm eating good, bro. Shaving stuff going. I'm like making these goofy videos while I'm like drowning, but I'm like, you know what? Like this is part of this process.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, New Chevy really set everything up for it to be a slam dunk record, in my opinion.
I feel like hearing that, like, do you think that experience kind of shaped the rest of your artistry?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too, I kind of knew it would. like I could have done it in a much smarter way.
Yeah.
Not smarter, but I could have done it in a much more comfortable way.
I understand what you're saying.
You know, like
sometimes you need that kick in the ass.
Instead of like 6 months, I could have been like, okay, 1 month, go back, save up some more money, come back for a little bit. Okay, it's kind of slow right now. Let me go and do this and like, you know. But then going there like looking like this, and then coming back with a beard like down to here, and like it was an insane thing. But yeah, new Chevy, shout out new Chevy. If you haven't heard new Chevy, that's like the I don't know. It's a great record, to be honest.
Awesome. So what have we been writing about lately? What's been inspiring us?
Oh man, I've been getting really deep into the production side of things. I'm working on like figuring stuff out for my next album.
Word.
And so yeah, I'm gonna be like stacking up for that.
Are you self-producing?
I'm gonna try to self-produce 2 songs on the album, but then the rest would be like 10. And then me and Sarah, we worked on like a little intro when I was first trying to figure out how to do producing, and I wasn't good, but she can play like every instrument.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Sarah, she's cool.
You're not a mic, but I'll answer for what you say. Do you have like a preferred? What's your like go-to instrument? Piano. Oh well, that's like super helpful for like everything about production.
It's what you need for everything, so it's cool.
I'm kind of curious about your gigging history. What's your gigging history? You play out a lot?
I haven't played out a whole lot. I've done a couple shows. I did a show one time. It was actually, I used to have like really bad like stage fright type thing, but I would go up and I would just sing and the vocals would be good, but I wouldn't have any energy kind of like standing there, hand in my pocket. And then one day I went to a party and I performed and nobody paid attention to me and everybody just kind of walked away.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it actually made me like, oh, if that's the worst case scenario, like I don't really give a shit. And then I've been good from there. But yeah, I perform. I performed at my last performance I did was at a venue in Omaha called the Waiting Room Lounge. I was in like June, but I've been trying to perform more. And before that, I'd set up in a performance in like a cafe. Yeah, like a cafe in my town in like this 200-year-old building or whatever. It was like, so that was cool. I performed at parties.
Acoustic?
No, they had like a little system or whatever, and it was cool. It was a cool little setup, but I didn't even have like a DJ.
Sorry,
I didn't even have like a DJ. So I get really distracted by things, but like not I'm like I'm distracted, but in like a you know. There's a camera right there, and I just got excited.
Josh. Oh, Josh. This is my new LinkedIn headshot. This is hilarious. I haven't seen Josh in so long because this is a new studio. We used to record elsewhere. But nevertheless, are you like confident in your live set?
Oh, I am. Yeah,
okay, word.
I am. I've performed with autotune, without autotune. I like it without autotune. I like the raw vocals.
Yeah.
With like some backing tracks to lean on. But I like actually give. It's one of those. I worked very hard on being able to perform because I have such, as you know, I have very sad music with upbeat kind of feels to it. So like, I'll get like shirtless on stage if I have like a design on me. I'll get like shirtless and perform, and you know, I keep the energy really high, and it's like basically cardio, but I make sure like I hit the notes.
Yeah.
So it's I'm very confident in my performing abilities.
Okay, sweet. Is that in the cards for 2024? More live shows?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get 2024 to just be like just ripping live shows. I just love performing. I never thought I always thought I was gonna fail with music because I didn't love performing, and so because I was always so scared. Because then it's like, you know, if I'm acting, I'm acting. But if it's singing, it's like, you know, it's a lot. It was a lot easier to take things personal when it's songs that I wrote that are like authentically me and it's me singing and belting. You know, like that was always a lot harder. But I love performing. I love, that's kind of it. I want to do a lot more this year.
Yeah, I mean,
trying.
You definitely have to like rip the Band-Aid off with performing to
Totally.
like actually understand it and like, know where you excel. Obviously, you want more shows this year. What other music industry goals we got?
Man, I wanna get. Yeah, I just really want to do shows. I just want to do a lot more shows. That's kind of it. I want to do a lot more shows, and then also my goal is by the end of the year at least have a majority of my next album done. I already have the concept completely written out. I have scripts written and things like that for little bits in between because I love bits in songs. I think every song
there was a few that I was like listening to Shuffle, and I think there were like 2 back to back where they ended in like
skits,
some like type of vocal. Yeah.
I'm very obsessed with it. New Chevy has at the beginning. New Chevy starts with. When I was going through a breakup, I was like, I'm probably gonna make music about this. So I started documenting, not like on some like crying on my story type shit, but I was like, I'm gonna document these and just save them.
Yeah.
And so I documented every time that it got so overwhelming, and I sampled them a couple times. I sampled them in the Eye to Eye video, but I didn't want to drown it out with "Meh, I'm going through what everybody goes through." I didn't want to like drown it out with that. So anyways, yeah. So like New Chevy starts with "I need to get home. I need to get home." It's me like having a meltdown, just bawling my eyes out, and then it ends with the exact same thing. "I need to get home. I need to get home." But here's a concept a lot of people don't know about that song, and I always get stuck on New Chevy, but it starts with these words as a breakdown, ends with these words, and it starts with "I need to get home, I need to get home," like, and at the end it's
Chandler, hey, you're saying her name in your sleep again.
"Oh, I'm so sad."
No, I mean, it's fine. Like, how about we just like stay in today and we can do like anything you want?
And then it ends with "I need to get home." No, I need to get home. Like, and so it's kind of the acceptance of here's where I was in this past that I've had. Here's where I am now. And it was stemmed from Jon Bellion has a line on one of his songs where he says, "There's someone gorgeous in my bed tonight, but I'm still petrified that I'll die alone."
Yep.
And
that's also one of my like all-time favorite songs. But yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, Human.
Yeah.
The acoustic of that is crazy. But yeah, so it was kind of like that kind of feel to it but it's also me doing the girl voice. So it's a variation of me. It's myself who's the one that pulled me out of it and was able to pull myself out of it. And someone that's always going to be there. I don't care, we just stay in, let's take a day for ourselves. And then like, no, I need to get out and do stuff, like, so it was like, but I just love bits. Like He's About to Start has a weird bit in it where it's like, "I'm so excited to see what he brings up next. I'm not, he sucks." And it's just so, And
I don't think I realized that you were the voice of them.
I'm the voice of everything on that album except and He's About to Start. Chandler, wake up. It's my family doing it. Yeah, it's my parents.
That's really nice to have them on that.
Yeah, it's my parents' voice memos, and then all the other like voices are me and the bits. Because I was just having fun. And my producer, every time I would do that, he would look at me like this. I'd look over and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?"
That's uniquely you, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, I love hearing about the like little intricacies, which is why I think I'm like really excited to hear what you self-produce. I would like to really delve into that when they're out.
Yeah, when they're out, I'll definitely. You know how it goes. I would like make 500 songs.
Oh yeah,
and then it's like, "Oh, this one's good. This one's good. We could do this one." People are like, "I want to hear the other ones." Nope, you don't. You don't.
Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I love learning more about SBPP.
That's right. And thanks for having him here.
And I love learning more about your music. We touched on your industry goals, but I do like to wrap up every interview with this question. Unrelated to music, unrelated to your career, what are some goals you have in the near future?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I go 100 miles an hour just on the career stuff. And
that's why I asked this question, because everyone is like that.
Yeah, there's a quote. I forget who the quote is from, but it's like, if you take away your job, your passions, and this, like, who are you in the end of the day? If you don't have those things, you've never had an interest in whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I struggle with that. I think my goal is just to remain this level of happy, no matter what happens. Like I'm very happy. I'm very content. I have a great family, great girlfriend, great friends around me.
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Sure.
I don't typically interrupt, but I am kind of curious. Is your happiness like, is there a foundation of your happiness that's built on like the success of your stuff, or are we past that point?
I've always just kind of been happy.
Yeah.
Like even when I've been sad, I've had like undertones. I can say it doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
There's I don't get really with the TikTok stuff. it's all SBPP. With SBPP, it made it to where I can actually like, I don't have a posting schedule. I just if I go 3 days without posting and then post 20 times in a day, I just post when I want to, and that makes it so much lighter and so much more fun. And so I think definitely that has an element of it, but so many things have so many different elements to it about why I'm happy. I'm always pretty happy,
Cool.
I guess. Yeah. So everything. It's just the ladder of everything.
I'm jealous.
Keeps me happy. Oh man.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh man.
No, I think I just asked because obviously I talk to like a lot of creatives, and it's either it's one or the other. People are either like, I think that's also why I asked that question, because a lot of people's like mental well-being is related to their success in their career.
Totally.
And I think that's something I personally like unlearned recently.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to hear other people's perspectives on it.
Yeah. I'm a pretty happy fella. Thank God. Thank God. Oh my God, dude. Thank God. Yeah. I'm always pretty happy. I went through a couple years where I was not very happy, and it was the most productive years I'd had because I felt like I had to. There was just so many things that fell into like me making my project.
Yeah.
It was just 2 years of just ass. And then I released the project. I felt healed from all the traumas that I'd gone through in my life, and I worked on them in the only way I knew how to work on them, and came out a different person, came out a lot stronger, and ultimately, a lot happier. So that's what it is. It's very nice to be happy.
Well, hey, as a fan, that's quite delightful to hear. I'm excited for what 2024 has in store for you. You definitely have everything in place to have a really great future. So I'm excited to be a fan.
I appreciate it. Thank you, dude.